going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Sports to the Wire. For those of you who are new to the channel, I am your host, as always, Rashid White. All right, so I was going through Nets Daily today, and I seen this article pop up earlier. And by the time this video comes out, it will probably be about Wednesday morning when this video comes out. So it will probably be old news. So basically, this comes out of the Nets Daily, and comes from Mark Stein, I believe. So they're saying that ownership is saying that the Brooklyn Nets are not in any kind of hurry to sign Kyrie Irving to any type of contract extension. And my take on that is yes, they are. Yes, they are. For one, the owner, Joe Tsai, actually owes it to Kyrie Irving himself. You know, that him, and he brought Kevin Durant, he convinced him to come to the Brooklyn Nets. There was 20 other teams that they could have actually went to. They chose you. You know, so you actually need to be grateful for that. And this is over here, Stein. Nets under no pressure to move swiftly on Kyrie Irving's extension. So we're going through this nonsense. Joe Tsai is all about his ego. Listen. Oh boy. All right. Let me try to stay composed over here. Let me just try to stay composed. All right, but basically, listen, you don't want a situation like you had in Boston. Basically, when Kyrie Irving actually got to Boston, you had a young Tatum and Brown. They were both coming up on rookie contract extensions, and you're asking them to actually take a backseat to Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving when these guys are actually trying to get their money. So it's the exact same thing over here, man. I don't want to see that type of situation over here. You know, like right now, the way Kyrie Irving is playing right now, he's actually playing great. You know, but in the playoffs, it's going to come down to matchups right now. So right now, well, not right now, I'm sorry, but let's say if you have a scenario between Cleveland and the Brooklyn Nets, and Ben Simmons is actually going to have the best matchup because Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell are 2-6-1 guards. You know, so the offense is actually going to need to really kind of go through them. I don't want to see Kyrie Irving, you know, go 1-on-2, and then you try to give Ben Simmons the ball with 7 seconds or something like that on the shot clock. You know, that's not going to work. That's not a recipe. That's not a good formula for actually winning right there. So, hold on, let me turn this camera off because the battery is actually dying over here. Dying. But we're not going to interrupt the flow of this thing over here. But yeah, so I made a video a couple of days ago, and it was talking about Kyrie Irving actually playing for a contract, or he's actually playing for a championship. You know, so and that's another thing. Kyrie Irving is a 7-time All-Star. Okay, a 7-time All-Star. This is for actually Joe Tsai over here. You know, who really just bought a team to have somewhere to actually put his money. You can't keep billions of dollars in the bank account, so you actually got to put the money somewhere. So listen, with your non-basketball ass, so you don't know basketball, man. So listen, Kyrie Irving is a 7-time All-Star. You don't get to his level without eating, sleeping, breathing basketball, okay? It's not that, he's going to get his money and then he's just not going to show up. I mean, just Kyrie Irving is not built like that, man. It's about legacy for Kyrie. You know, you actually see how, each year he's actually getting better and better and better. Now, you could say, it's lack of availability. Well, whose fault is that? That wasn't his fault. You can't force the man to take something. You know what y'all were trying to do. The mayor de Blasio and then Eric Adams was doing was against the law. Yeah, and then there was nothing in the contract in their CBA saying that they actually had to take a vaccine to play. And then you had road teams that unvaccinated players that were coming in and playing. Well, come on, man. The whole thing was actually a circus right there. And then let's look into the playoffs last year with the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. The ball should have been primarily in Kyrie's hands. Listen, I love KD, but again, the playoffs are about matchups. Kyrie had the better matchup. He's actually able to break a defense down quicker. He's smaller, he's faster, he's lower to the ground, so he can actually break a defense down quicker, get to the rim, put pressure on the defense, and then try to get the ball out to open shooters. Kevin Durant should have been more off the ball. So you had a coach, in Steve Nash that then pretty much didn't know what the hell he was doing. So you see the difference between Jacques Vaughn and you look at Steve Nash. There's more of a system going on right now. Now, granted, Steve Nash, I'll probably throw him a leg over here that he didn't. There's a lot of injuries. There was no floor spacing. You had Joe Harris out. You had Seth Curry out Seth Curry on one leg. And it was a disastrous team. You had older, slower players. You got to put a lot of that on Sean Marks right now. And he should be under a lot of pressure, because if he's probably in the owner's ear saying oh, nah, let's see what we can get out of Kyrie. No, man, because there's going to be certain matchups in the playoffs that is best suited for Ben Simmons. There'll be certain matchups that's best suited for Kyrie. It needs to be a system, a team, basketball structure here, man. Who's to say, now I'm not saying Kyrie will actually do this, but who's to actually say that, Kyrie doesn't want to go too hard, because he doesn't want to get hurt, and maybe the owner doesn't want to pay him or give him the money that he actually deserves. He's going to have to look for another team and say, okay, I'm going to have to go to another team now, so I'm not going to give it 100%. He could be totally disrespected in the way the Brooklyn Nets are treating him. And I said this on multiple occasions on multiple videos. Listen, Joe Tsai, whether you like Kyrie Irving or not, you're going to have to deal with him until he probably retires. This is think about the bigger picture. I just don't understand how you become a billionaire and then you're thinking so one-dimensional. You're supposed to think three-dimensionally. You got to look at future free agents. The NBA players are watching this situation. Kyrie Irving, for what he actually did, brought the Brooklyn Nets out of limbo. It brought them out of limbo. They were like a bottom of the basement team. Nobody was talking about them. And you got two free agents, two superstars that actually come to your team. Do you want to be like James Dolan? Because I promise you, if you actually screw this up, you will be worse than James Dolan. James Dolan, I don't think didn't mess with superstars like that. He took care of them. He took care of Carmelo Anthony. It was just a lot of media scrutiny with James Dolan for the most part. A lot of that stuff is overrated. They will, take everything, blow everything out of proportion when it came to James Dolan. I got to go look up some of the stuff he actually did. But, James Dolan was, the worst owner in the NBA. But he doesn't have a reputation of just screwing with superstars, So, you got to give Kyrie Irving his money. You owe it to them. He brought this team and probably get team valuation, even more so. So you owe him this money. Give him his money. It's not like he's going to take his foot off the gas. He's not wired like that, man. There's a reason why he's a 7-time All-Star. And he actually made... I believe that, max contract or not, he was going to get this version of Kyrie that we actually seeing. I just don't want him playing too much hero basketball, trying to actually, he shouldn't have to do this, man. The owners is really, really bad. He's terrible. And I believe he is actually one of the worst owners in the NBA, And if he screws this up, Kevin Durant, you see what he can actually do. You see the impact that he actually has on the team before his injury, that, they were the number 2 seed. Number 2 seed. So Kevin Durant is and Kyrie, they brought this team out of a deep, dark abyss. If it wasn't for them, the Brooklyn Nets would be like, number 10, 11 seed. They wouldn't get any kind of marquee free agents over there. You know, sometimes you hope on player development, but that's not always the case all the time. Look what Kyrie LeVert, still the same, still inconsistent. Jared Allen, I think that's his ceiling right there. I don't think he's going to get any higher. So we'll see actually what you guys actually think in the comment section right there, man. Should they give him his money now or later? I think they should just give him his money right now. This way, if you're going for a championship, man, you can't have, because then it becomes a distraction too. It becomes a distraction with the media. They'll be constantly asking, "Oh, Kyrie's gonna get his money. He's gonna get his money, the contract." I mean, it's just, we don't want any type of media distractions. They always looking for a story. They always looking to, especially when it comes to Kyrie Irving, they always looking to create some type of drama. Most of the stuff that happened with Kyrie Irving was media inflicted, man. The media just takes things and they just blow things way out of proportion. Especially with the movie that he put on his page, they took that way out of proportion. The vax thing, they took that way out of proportion, blew it way out of proportion. The people in the media knew it was wrong. So we'll actually see what happens, man. Hopefully, before the playoffs begin, they can get this man his money. He deserves it. He made the Brooklyn Nets relevant for the future. Because people in the media is constantly, we see them. They're talking about the Brooklyn Nets, man. It's just, everybody started up YouTube pages. I mean, I've been a fan since 1995, and national radio is talking about them, and national media is talking about the Brooklyn Nets right now. So got a lot of attention. The Knicks are the number 2 seed. You saw the Daily News press thing there. It was like, oh, well, we own this city over here, man. The Brooklyn Nets. All right, so I'll wrap this video up. I've been talking enough. Wrap the video up. Like, comment, subscribe. Certainly share this video. When you share, the universe certainly shares back with you. Peace.